And we're live again with another Whale Club Hangout, episode 18, here with the alt options. We're starting to see now the progression of derivatives showing up in the Bitcoin space. We've seen the futures become very successful, and now we're starting to see options. So today we have Joe and Marco, the founders of Alt Options. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yep, thank you.
And why don't you just start off by taking us through both of your backgrounds, the background of the team you have building alt options, and why you decided that the Bitcoin space is ready for an options platform.
Yeah, sure. I guess I will start from my end. So Marco and I, we both got a degree from Boston University Question School of Business, BSBA. We both concentrated in finance and entrepreneurship. And prior to finishing our degree, we both had extensive interest in trading equities and equity derivatives. To be specific, this is my 7th year trading equities and equity derivatives. Previously, I was the top 10 trader at CME trading a global trading competition with the other co-founder, Kevin, who's not here today. So my most experience of focused in sales and trading, as well as investment banking, worked at Citi in the private wealth management department. Also worked at the investment bank in China Securities, prior to founding this company.
And yeah, I mean, Joe said it pretty well for the both of us. I've been trading securities since I was about 18 or earlier. I did have a great interest in options trading as well, and that's what got me interested in joining the trading club, which at Boston University, which Joe founded, and that's kind of how we became very good friends, and also came up with the idea to start alt options. Otherwise, my experience, I've worked a few jobs in the office space. More recently, I did work at a financial firm overseas in China called GAO. It's much like a Bloomberg counterpart. So I did a lot of financial analyst work there. And yeah, I met Joe, and we started this company called Alt Options. We saw that there was a need for risk mitigation and efficient speculation in the Bitcoin space because there was huge volatility back when we first thought of this idea, which was about over a year ago. You know, daily volatility was at least 10% some days, and it was incredible, and we found it astounding that there was no legitimate derivatives exchange at that point in time. There was it was right before the bigger derivatives exchanges started coming out, and we wanted to capitalize on that. We wanted to be first movers in the space and cultivate the options market.
Yeah, so basically that's our part of the story prior to founding the company. Because we're both traders, want to profit on the volatility of the specific asset, and there wasn't any value. But anyhow, I think that pretty much covers.
Well, what I think is interesting is there certainly was a bit of a learning curve to go from spot margin to futures. I think some people are a little bit confused with settlement. There's always this kind of controversy surrounding the idea of it's not real Bitcoin you're trading, and the idealists have a little pitchfork rant with that. But do you think really that the Bitcoin market is ready for options? I mean, there's a massive learning curve that's coming to use options. How do you plan on going about how do you see the space, first of all? I heard you talk about the hedging aspect of it, but how do you get retail traders interested in using an options product?
Yeah, sure. Just for typical retail clients, just a specific segment we're targeting, because they're mostly BTC Bitcoin traders already, or could be just equity options traders. To them, to understand how options behave on another asset class is fairly easy. So what we really provide is just a brand new venue. As in addition to that, a lot of tools they will be using to trade those products. And to them, it will really just be another product they add to their trading list because they see the volatility there, and it's profitable to play the product.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
No, hi, we're on a call right now. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So yeah, we were saying.
Yeah, we're saying. Why do we think this will be a product retail traders will be trading on? And that's sort of my thought on that. But I would definitely see a long way to go, both on the education for the Bitcoin as well as the financial derivatives on Bitcoin as a long-term goal, because a lot of retail traders or our potential target market who do not understand trading, finance, nor derivative products, the learning curve is really deep. What we can do, what we can provide as a trading venue / broker is really just give them all the materials they need to catch up onto speed, as well as we're going to be hosting different kinds of seminars, webinars on a weekly basis to teach them different strategies and also just options basics, yeah.
Yeah, and I know you guys have a demo prepared, so as you get that fired up, do you think, when we're talking about the retail trader tools, I'd like to see some of those things you have, because that's really going to be crucial, getting people to understand basically why should they trade options. I mean, the retail sector really needs to have kind of the impetus of like, well, why should I use this product? I'm doing futures right now, why should I use options?
Oh yeah, definitely. I guess the way how we're gonna go about it is compare and contrast like different characteristics across different derivative products. For example, just option compared with spot, you provide higher leverage, also a limited downside if you're just trading vanilla options by owning them. A typical example that we give to our retail customers, the audience we're presenting to, is really just and if you buy a BTC, hold it for a $20 upside, as comparing to holding the option with the same amount of money you invest in BTC, you're typically getting at least 10 to 15x the return than holding the BTC with very limited downside.
All right. Do you have your demo up that you can do a screen share?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's see how we're gonna figure this out.
I also, as you pull that up, kind of want to get into, do you have some concerns over the fact that you don't have a spot exchange and how that's going to relate to, your product specifically?
Well, we actually will have a spot exchange on our platform. You'll be able to use US dollar to BTC and vice versa. We also recognize that a healthy spot market is essential to have an established derivatives market. So, although the trading numbers they're not as high as they could be, we know that Bitcoin will be around, and as long as there are platforms where people can hedge and speculate efficiently and utilize tools to trade, there's no reason why people who traditionally trade wouldn't want to get into the Bitcoin space. So we're trying to get in at the ground level here so that we can make this happen.
Okay. Do you have the demo up? I'm not seeing it on.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen. Do you guys know
Yeah, it's the second one down. It's the little green box.
Okay, the green box, white arrow.
Sweet. Awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Let's do this one.
Yeah, that's good.
Sure. Wait, that's.
Oh, I know that's in Safari.
Yeah.
There we see it.
Screen share.
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm just gonna.
Just close that.
Yeah,
Close Safari.
I'm gonna redo this. Oh my god. Sorry.
We had it there for a minute.
Yeah. I closed it because there's some glitches. Okay, let me know if you can see it now.
We see your screen. We're not seeing the demo yet.
I'm logging in right now.
Okay. Yep. No problem. Yeah, I know that there's been a lot of thought that I've given to whether some of the platforms we see don't have a spot exchange, and I know as we get into more advanced products, it seems like people are skipping that step. But I think when you're using ultimately that product, you're going to need at least the spot exchange as some kind of secondary mechanism to go in, hedge off risk, or something to that effect.
Absolutely. We do. Actually, this current system, which is we're running a V2 demonstration right now, it already incorporated spot order book. So we just need the market maker to be plugged in with the API, and you'll be able to trade spot. The only concern right here is really just accepting U.S. customers across different states require a money transmitter license from our end, and that's something we're currently working on.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that in a minute. I know Drac has added a good chunk of that towards the end of the Hangout, but we wanted to go over the platform, and we do see, we got to give a shout out to the Tradingview charting library. Seems like you must have at least talked with those guys over there, or you like their platform. So you're not trying to reinvent charting, which I do like.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they have really robust charting tool. So we're definitely just using their product right now. But anyhow, so as you guys can see, this is our main trading frame. Someone raised the question why the color is green. I don't know if it's good or not. Like, if you guys have any opinion or question, want to stop me, just go ahead. So on the top left, that's where you check your balance, XBT, current exposure, available to trade. Those numbers. It's very intuitive, and it's right position in terms of where the screen, where the numbers are located in your screen. In the middle, that's the standard charting tool where you can change different charting style. Whether you're less sophisticated investor, want to see aerial charts, or you want to see candlesticks, or even high-low bars, you'll be able to change that. Also, adding more than 50 plus in technical indicators to your chart. That's not a problem either.
Yeah, we're very familiar with the TradingView platform. I guess what I'm really looking for is, what would be specific to options tools that would be aiding us? Because we all of us here use TradingView, and we're extremely familiar with that platform and the power behind it. So what do you have specifically? Do you have risk graphs? Are you planning on doing some stuff like that to better illustrate the way an option moves much differently than a linear product? Absolutely.
Well, I would like to go over a typical use case first by placing a trade, so you see how the process looks and the option chain looks before we jump into analytics, which is the stuff you're asking for. So normally, if you want to place a trade, you will select a product from here. Right now, for demonstration purpose, we're doing the 240 strike call options right here. Just place the price here and the amount that you want. Oh, right, I forgot you only have $500 here. So this order gets submitted. You can see it get populated on the order book right here, market depths. And you will be able to check if this order gets executed. Be able to check your positions here, check your current open orders. I'll be able to cancel order there too. And if the order is closed, it shows up here. If it's rejected, that's another window. And in addition to that, you'll be able to check the details down here, expiry month table. Later on, when we have more products, you'll be able to see like 3 months further down, where you can choose each expiring month and all the related products underneath that month. So that's sort of how placing a trade looks like from the end user perspective. In terms of the, yeah?
I was just gonna say, Pip, just bring you in here. I know you were asking that question, so let's see if we can find that on their demo.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just trying to see if there were any Greeks available for me to look at prior to placing a trade.
Yep. So for that feature, we're currently testing. We're going to be adding that feature onto the platform.
Right on. Okay, so what you're saying is that before you go in and accept customers on a mass basis, you're going to have a more robust product.
Exactly. We're going to have that.
Okay, great.
I just want to sort of go over what we'll be able to provide retail customers with. One thing, because I trade options all the time, I use TD Ameritrade. Pretty much the best platform I've ever used, because I don't have to pull out my Excel sheet, calculate my own risk. They have the risk profile, the way to calculate the probability of the price distribution in the future. Also, as well, check your potential P&L in terms of how many days until expiration date. So we want to provide a feature like that. That's something that's provided on a Bloomberg terminal that's not available on typical retail platform.
That looks wonderful
perfect.
there. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Me and Pip are familiar with the Thinkorswim platform, and I think that goes very far in illustrating just the power behind a nonlinear product like options, and how you can construct it to any kind of price action move that you're anticipating.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, if people don't see that and they just see like the expiration graph, they miss all of the the Greeks working their magic in the middle up till expiration.
Yep. So that's what we currently have on the V2 version. But the next version, as you mentioned, what about Greeks, right? We're going to be having a specific session here. You will first be able to see the entire portfolio of Greeks. Then you will be able to see each individual positions Greeks. That's all going to be covered.
That's looking great. I really like that.
Thank you. Yeah. So in addition to this, in the future we're going to be adding the probability distribution of the price that's going to be related to volatility on this chart. For example, you'll be able to see, the possibility of this specific strategy go in the money or go out of money within a couple of days as well. So we're adding that feature.
Yeah, it's nice to see that I don't have to really reiterate that. If you just take a look at the Thinkorswim platform, that's really the standard in the industry, and it's the closest you can get to working towards that. I think the more easier onboarding process and intuitive understanding you're going to find from traders.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. So that's sort of the analytic tools we're going to be providing user with for the option products. And so in addition to that, just some standard features for you to change your settings, review a KYC ML status, and also how much fees you played up to date. Also a messaging system from the system, as well as the trading history. Right now there isn't any close orders, so you won't be able to see. And in the future, we're adding a tax center where it gives you the tax incentive, whether it's wash trade, LIFO, FIFO style, or either short-term or long-term tax implications. We're going to be able to provide you with a PDF report you will be able to download.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I like that.
What are you doing for like the margin requirements? I'm assuming you're going to be pretty stringent of anybody that wants to go naked on anything. So take us through kind of a background on that for people that might not be familiar as far as what I'm talking about, and then kind of your protocol in dealing with that risk.
Yeah, sure. So currently on our website there is a page, margin specification page. That's pretty much specify all the stuff we require for margin calculation. But just to give you like a higher level understanding, to start with, we do not offer retail customers any margin for naked positions. That being said, means if you want to short an option, we require you to put up Bitcoin as escrow. However, if you foresee your trading volume and deposits exceed to a certain level, we can definitely negotiate the margin level, because this is the way how our system sets up.
Are you doing European style options or American style, where they could be called away if it's in the middle? If it's in the money.
Options.
Sorry, American?
Yeah, they're all American style.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have one question as it relates to the KYC AML, if that's all right. Are you guys planning to support the BitLicense and New York customers?
That's a very good question. So I would say in the very short term, we're not. In the medium term, yes, we are.
Yeah, that's great. I can understand that. Obviously, there's way too many implications currently to say yes, for sure we do. But so you're thinking about it.
Yeah, we're actually planning to submit an application, which costs about $5,000, probably in a timeline of 8 to 12 weeks from now. That's when we're planning to do it. But it's subject to change, depends on our traction, how we're operating it, as well as the product development. So I can't give you a definite answer, but just in terms of getting the license, we're definitely getting it in the future.
Gotcha. Do you guys have any venture capital backing yet?
Yeah, so up to date, all of our investments come from individual angel investors, just because we don't have major capital expenses prior to this point. We built up the technology in the past year, but now we're really looking to get the platform going and get the product to our consumers, which is why I've been raising money for the past 2 months. We've received 2 term sheets so far from the West Coast. One of them is from a VC investor, which we're thinking about taking. I can't tell you the details, but it will be announced probably on CoinDesk when we take the deal. So that's a very significant amount of money we're going to be receiving.
Gotcha. Can you go back to your main demo screen for a minute?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Drac, are you here? I know we were having some discussion earlier as far as what their UI UX looked like. So, do you have some commentary on that?
Yeah, I think it's right. It needs to drop the green, and I think this space is very inefficiently used.
And I'll actually come on there too and say, I think the retail trader almost doesn't know what they're trying to communicate. I actually like an order entry screen, a full order entry screen, and then my charting on a completely different panel or screen.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe that's just the standard I've gotten used to with being over at OKCoin, but that's what I love.
That's understandable. I mean, I do see what you mean with the inefficient use of space. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
when you look up at where the balances are, the current exposure, there's a lot of green there.
It's very. I mean, it's also very busy. There's stuff there that shouldn't be there. For example, the market pulse.
Okay.
It's really. I mean, if I'm trading, I mean, just OKCoin's a really good example.
Yeah, sure.
Because they have a screen they've got 2 trading options. You can one with a chart, one without. Let's just assume the chart one. You've got everything relating to weekly BTC futures, for example, or like here you've got a whole bunch of stuff you don't need, and that would allow you to resize the the left margin, for example, if you got rid of market pulse. There's
Sure.
no real reason for that top left-hand corner to be so big. I mean, that's a small amount of information that can be put somewhere else on the screen.
Yep.
Maybe a line on the top, underneath your account status or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think, those are definitely good suggestions. At the same time, there is, about the color. So do you think that the color makes it too busy, or is it just...
Yeah, it adds to the noise.
Does it hurt to look at for a long time? Like, I know a lot of things maybe are like, there's a dark color in the background and maybe just a light color as the text. So I'm not really sure.
It's very busy. I mean, you need to decomplicate the process, and you need to. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 panels there, with all sorts of different data. And if I'm, trading a particular asset, like. I want the chart. I want the order book, and I want my order buttons. Don't need anything else.
Yeah, the one thing I really do like about OKCoin is once you get loose to the platform and you just see the icons, it's very intuitive. I mean, it may take a little bit of getting used to, but you know what the icons mean, and it's just very simple. The data is there, it's clean, it's not noisy, it's right to the point. And I will give you guys props that this actually, when I first saw it, it wasn't as I've seen some pretty ugly UIs, and it wasn't actually that bad. I'm getting a little picky with some of the things I'm saying, but not to throw BitMEX under the bus. But one thing I don't like what they do is they keep putting all of these wordy descriptions around everything, and it's like eventually I just need to know that I know that this is where my account balance is. You don't have to explain to me the contract every time. So I like that you've kept the trading screen somewhat clean as far as not having a lot of verbiage in there, where you're doing that on other pages from like an educational process. So keep with that. I do like that direction. But yeah, I'm picky as far as I like my order entry and charting from on a different screen and stuff like that. So, and Drac makes a lot of good points there.
I mean, the other thing, if you look also at something that is useful on the page, it's given such a small amount of kind of screen priority, the market depth. You could compress that market depth a little bit, and you could have it, much taller. I don't know. It's probably worth. I mean, I don't know what your guys' background is with the programming. But it's usually better not to have programmers deal with the UI, and it's better to find a UI UX person who isn't a programmer, because they are quite different skills. And
Oh yeah, I mean, these are great suggestions, and we'll definitely take them into account. I mean, this platform is by no means like the actual finished product. This is just one of our early versions.
Sure.
So yeah, there is much more efficient use of space. I think even right now I can visualize how the market depth can fit in here a little bit better than what it is now, and also the account balances. So yeah, thank you for the feedback.
I mean, I think just if you're saying, if you're still in very much in design stage, what I would say very useful is to make sure that from the software point of view, that the display and your logic parts are quite separate, because that will give you flexibility to change the layout according to customer feedback.
Okay.
Yep. Sure. Thank you.
As a customer, I'd like to just say that and I typed it earlier. The contrast is a little hard on my eyes, but maybe that has to do with the color choices. Maybe a theme or a varying amount of color, some sort of a way to toggle a color change would be really nice.
For that, I think we can provide. I don't know if anyone here knows coding. We're going to be having a separate CSS file where you can choose.
Perfect. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, just any way to make it so that I don't have to stare at something that's hard on my eyes. And I know that you guys do support the FIX and REST APIs, so I guess I could code my own little thing too.
Yeah, you can do that in the future. Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is I actually want to ask you guys, because our last version of UI, we have the order entry part as a floating bar on the bottom, where you can access it at anywhere in the platform. I'm just asking, do a quick poll. Do you guys like that? It's kind of like a TD Ameritrade web trading platform.
I'm trying to understand what that means. Like you saying that anyway, I can just do like a little pop-up from the bottom and have access right to that trade entry bar. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
The little.
So it'll be there regardless of where you are on the site.
Yes. So put it in perspective, it's like.
Yes, I would like that.
It's like where the cursor is. It's like a bar down here where it floats. You'll be able to place an order like. Should I just log in my TD Ameritrade?
I mean, you could. I mean, just imagine like this thing right down here is is the bar. Regardless of whether I'm like scrolling down here or going here to a different page, even it's always going to be at the bottom. So God forbid if you read something that's you need to sell your bitcoins or you want to buy some more really quickly, you can do that wherever you are, and you don't have to go back to this trading page.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying with being familiar with Thinkorswim platform. Yeah, I do like that idea. That is something. Yeah,
I mean,
I like it.
if you really want to do something different, which is missing in the sort of Bitcoin space, is the ability to place trades on a chart. Your entry, your exit, your stops actually as a line on the chart that you can drag up and down.
Well, that might be a little bit out of the purview for options because you want to look at that risk graph because that's going to be a real key to understanding what trade you're getting into. You can't really do that on the point and click bar graph as much.
Fair enough.
I would agree with you if we're trading future contracts. Like, it's really useful to see because I used to trade with CME, the platform. And on their charting tool, you will be able to place an order like really quickly.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joe. Were you still taking us through the platform?
Oh yeah. So the platform demo is finished. Right now I'm just collecting feedback and questions and stuff.
Okay, and I know, like, I believe Marco and I were talking on one of the WeChats, and are you guys coming out with a trading competition? Why don't you, unless I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but if you do have that, just kind of give over some of the details of that, of people that, want to kind of get on the alpha and want to get kind of familiar with options and how they work and stuff. So just, why don't you give us some details on that?
Yeah, sure. So the rationale of having this competition, really just getting some buzz, having people trade on this, is like a typical FX broker strategy for us, right? It's from our perspective, but from the participant perspective, the trading competition, we're still finalizing the details, but it's going to be launched around between August and September, mostly September. We're actually thinking about partnering with BitMEX, but you guys mentioned you don't like their platform, so we're actually thinking about rethinking about the division.
Well, hold on.
I think we like their platform. We like their platform. It's just that, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get bad emails from Arthur. We love Arthur over there on the TeamSpeak.
No, we know him very well as well. We're just playing around.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Arthur, he's moving in the right direction. I just wish he would stop putting these large, detailed descriptions about what each thing is. I mean, traders eventually don't want to have that in front of them all the time. I just need little icons.
Well, speaking of that as well, just back to the UI thing, what we were thinking of maybe even just having like a hover icon, like, a little eye symbol next to it. It's for the people that don't know too much about Bitcoin. So that would be better because you could keep that low profile UI design, but also make it so, you can have that extendability and show people what you're trading or like what this actually means.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree 100% there.
But sorry, I didn't mean to take away from the trading competition. But yeah, we actually, I think you can see it right here. This is on our website right now. There's the competition details. Each participant will be given $10,000. There's going to be 1 week practice period, and then there's going to be the official 3-week trading stretch. So simply enough, the person with the highest account value at the end of this will be rewarded with real Bitcoin Cash prizes. The trading will run 24/7, and you'll actually be able to utilize margin. The initial margin will be 50%.
50%.
Alrighty. So maybe we should get into kind of the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. As far as you guys decided to domicile within the U.S., I mean, what was the big reasoning behind that? I think you're going to be confronted with a tremendous amount of legal red tape. So what's the rationale behind that decision? And, other than, we did talk about the bit license, Are you going to have to do money MSBs, which I guess the BitLicense tries to tackle, but certainly you have to have something with the CFTC. So let's go through the rationale of being in the U.S. and those concerns.
Yeah, sure. So I guess a couple reasons that I have in my head is from business strategy and our vision perspective, U.S. has the highest standard at the moment, and also they're fairly open to the idea of using Bitcoin both commercially and also institutionally, because all the banks are looking at the technology and transfer money around across the globe and so forth. So we think competing U.S., having the companies having U.S. really give us the highest standard. So match it with our vision, because we want to be the most popular venue for people to trade products like those. And in order to do that, in order to grow big, we can't be some sketchy offshore company that's kind of like our competitors, what our competitors are doing. So that's sort of our rationale, and we're going to be trying everything that's possible to fulfill that goal. And secondly, because one of our ultimate goal is to incorporate entire trading, transaction recording, as well as margin enforcing back into blockchain, to utilize blockchain technology as the ledger. That's a feature we're going to be having for V4. And in order to do that, we'd like to remain U.S. because this is a place where the banks are all looking at the technology part.
Yeah, I'm going to turn this over to Drac here, and I have some follow-up too.
Yeah, I kind of take objection to the sort of the statement that somehow offshore companies are shady, because every single large United States company, very complex offshore overseas structures, I think to suggest somehow that a company being offshore is somehow shady is insane. And remember, offshore doesn't necessarily mean Cayman Islands or something. I mean, offshore to the United States is Singapore, Hong Kong.
Yeah. No, I mean that's completely true. But we're business students. We don't fool ourselves here. Of course, there's many complex tax strategies that companies have, like Apple, to get the most of their money. But I mean, just for the public's perception, it is a little bit better because a lot of people don't understand that. Being here in the U.S., we have a well-established legal system too. That's why we're here. There's compliance. We are going to be gathering legal information for legal purposes from our users so that they can trade safely on our platform and be recognized by the government. So we just...
I have one more sort of observation regarding that. I mean, sort of, it's a very sort of, I don't know, business school traditional mainstream perspective to say somehow that, and we hear this a lot in the Bitcoin space, that consumers, quote, want to be protected. They want to feel, quote, safe by regulations, et cetera, et cetera. And adoption of Bitcoin so far has done very well without any of that. In fact, it's been positively thriving, and I think it's just one of those things where that's what people are taught in school, and it's sort of the mantra that but it actually is very far from reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you should.
So what you're alluding to is that the regulation will inhibit Bitcoin innovation and just Bitcoin use in the space, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually completely agree with you on that front too. It's just that
here's another side of it, that there are an increasing number of first world countries refusing to do with big businesses refusing to do business with US customers. And it's not even in obscure niches, because the United States has such overreaching, sort of transnational kind of, they don't keep their regulation within their border. They seem to think that they can extend to any country's jurisdiction. And as a consequence, there are countries now where you go as a tourist and they don't want dollars. Before you could sell your dollars to anyone on the exchange on the street. Now people don't want to touch it. That's happening more and more. So my point is that I think you really need to take this on board, that the United States is not necessarily an attractive jurisdiction, even.
Well, I want to just point out really what the current trading environment is in crypto. Not really the hypothetical, not talking kind of broad ideological aspects of what is going on. From the U.S. regulatory regime. Right now, the volume is extremely concentrated on offshore exchanges. That's a fact.
China is, well, not offshore, but yes, like a foreign entity that's not the United States.
Yeah, and if you have issues with China and what they're doing with zero fees, just look at BitFinex. I mean, that is where the users are concentrating, and some of that has to do with the fact that it's very low friction for me to get onto BitFinex. It's an email sign up, and I can stop there. Usually two-factor authentication, but you're not having to provide this massive amounts of data to those companies. And I understand there is a very there's a dichotomy going on between two viewpoints. The domestic exchanges, we heard it out of Coinbase, we've heard it out of Kraken, but we've heard the other side out of Finex and stuff. And it's really two different business models essentially that are competing right now. Right now, the current state of crypto traders, overwhelmingly prefers the offshore exchanges. So the user base that you're currently looking at is that. Can it change? Yes. I mean, I hear from the domestic exchanges all the time, like, okay, well, we're going for, maybe call them Joe E-Trade, people that want to get more comfortable with the U.S. exchange. Is that kind of what you're looking at as your target user? Who is your target user for your platform?
Oh, our target users are primarily people who already trade. Who are, like, especially day traders, people who are familiar with securities and are looking to get into bitcoins, as well as serious Bitcoin traders who probably also are familiar with trading securities because it's just another asset. So we do want to be a professional, legitimate exchange. That's why we are not some offshore thing. Of course, yes, we know that many people don't agree with regulation in the space, so they don't want to provide a lot of information. Shapeshift. It's a great company. I think it's wonderful, and it's great that it's so simple to use. However, you don't need any information to set up an account, which doesn't really meld well, at least with the BIT license. So we are making the U.S. for those several reasons, like we said. We think that it is a place that, God forbid, something happens, it is a place where there can be a just trial, but at the same time, even considering something like that, we are offering insurance, private insurance on our Bitcoin wallets, FDIC style, up to $250,000. So we want our customers to feel safe. We want to be professional, especially for institutional traders that may want to use our platform.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get into a kind of ideological, dogmatic viewpoint fight, because I certainly fall in the offshore camp, mainly because
it's okay. I mean, it's your preference.
Yeah, and mainly I'll say that what I like from those exchanges is the kind of idea of providing security or reliability, legit, using kind of these catchwords here, really reflects on interacting with those companies at very deep levels and to see how they communicate with their users. I mean, that's really what establishes their reputation. It's not buying a banking charter and spending half of your VC money doing that. Clearly, that does not seem to be playing out as a good strategic way of courting users and gaining. Maybe they've gained trust, but they haven't gained a user base.
Yeah,
So
absolutely true. I mean, I'm sure you would prefer to do business with an exchange where you could actually reach their executives, like in some way, whether it's phone, email, and that's why on our About Us page, there's all links to our LinkedIns, especially the founders, some of our employees, our direct emails. We want people to develop relationships with us, and we want to make those grow. That's why we're also providing many tools for people to learn about Bitcoin and about options. Right now, it's minimal. We have a page explaining options, the very basics. Same thing with Bitcoin. But like Joe said before, we're going to have webinars. We have our social media. You can reach us at a multitude of venues. So yeah, that's completely true. You need to create that trust to be there to show people that you're listening to what they want and what they're craving.
And I'm extremely on board with that idea of options education into the space, because that learning curve is so steep. I want to see an options platform. I mean, my handle is BTCVIX. I think you would think that I have an interest in volatility trading, so I want to see that succeed. But I know that there's probably another 8 points of contact we need to have before some of these basic users start to get interested in options and then see the potential and want to trade them. So I really like that you're going to go that way with it from the educational standpoint, the webinars. That's really going to help you get people up to speed and get curious about your product. But let's step back a little bit. What is going on with the CFTC, and what's the process you guys have to go with them? I'm assuming there's that element, right?
Yeah, there is. What we're doing right now is really just remain close contact with the commissioner's office, because just from the conversation we've had with them, they're not issuing any clear guidance in terms of how they were going to be regulating this space just yet. Right now, the suggestion is really just going down the swap execution facility path, which is some of the major players they're looking into. You guys have heard of Ledger X before, right? Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So they filed the application September last year, and they still haven't heard back from them yet. And the best thing we can do is really just be open with them. Also, at the same time, operating with the stuff, having an operation up with the suggestion they're giving to us. So we're going to be keeping the data they want to see in the future, as well as innovation. As I mentioned, we're going to be incorporating all the transactions on blockchain, where regulators will just be able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand this is it's a very complex animal we're discussing here with all these moving parts and the regulatory apparatus. I guess what I should bring up as a concern is, it's kind of like a failure to launch on the regulatory front. I mean, you just basically kind of made my point that LedgerX made this application and they're kind of in limbo waiting here. How long are you guys going to wait? Is this going to be, it's probably a months to years way of viewing things, and some of the offshore exchanges are going to move faster. So that's got to be, is that a concern of yours? What are your thoughts there?
We're not concerned in the sense that we've talked to our legal counsel on some of them are specialized in U.S. derivative laws, and we are very confident we're going to be going around it to start operation even. So we're not planning to get any license from CFTC just yet, and their rationale is really just protecting the end user consumer's integrity of each contract. If we can prove to them that our system is able to do so, I don't think there's any need for them to regulate the market.
Fair enough. So let's shift gears a little bit here as we're coming up on kind of the hour time limit. Do you guys, I know you guys are in alpha now, you're going to have this trading competition, but what kind of security measures as far as like coin security? I know you mentioned insurance, probably on those deposits. What are you doing? One confirmation in? How's your withdrawal process work? You just go over that with us, please.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me. So, our system, actually, we do not take any deposits. We use third party, our partners who are handling the money. We call it the banking layer. For the USD part, we go to process other payments via ACH. And for XBT Bitcoin deposits, we use BitGo. So each individual user will be able to have their wallet address, and they have the option to have insurance of the XBT they have deposited with BitGo. And as for confirmation, you can have multi-sig wallet, and also we offer two-factor authentication in both SMS and email. And as for withdrawing the money, so our major concern is really hinges on the AML aspect, as well as the hacker getting access with your phone, and also private key, everything multi-signature at the same time. So we require a manual confirmation of the withdrawal.
Yeah, I mean you're not reinventing it. You're going with a company that's established, so I commend you on that. You guys don't have anything as far as the fees you're going to charge, do you? And did I miss that on your page, or is that still?
Yeah, that's still our discussion right now. What we've envisioned is really to charge a flat fee per contract at this point, but we still try to figure out the detailed pricing. Because we want to see how fees are changing people's trading behavior, so we can build a model to figure out whether the fees we're charging makes economic sense for us running a business, as well as for end users to not feel like paying too much commissions on top of their premium. So I can't give you a definite number right now, but we're going to be having that ready relatively soon.
All right. And then I would be, I have to ask, are you planning on putting in some kind of referral program? Is that something that's being talked about as well, to drive users to your platform?
Yes, absolutely. Referral program we're going to be having, it's really
two models, straight up commission sharing, very standard, just like the other ones. Or when the referral deposit money, you get free commit. You can either choose free commissions or like a US dollar rebate.
All right, yeah, a little bit more flavor to our plain vanilla referral programs that we've been seeing coming out, that we've been accustomed to, and Drac is very familiar with that. But I just want to open up the panel here. We're coming up on time to see if we have any last-minute questions. So I'll just work from left to right. Drac, do you have any closing thoughts here?
No, I think I'm all right.
All right. And Pip Foundry?
No, other than the fact that I would like to comment that I really appreciate the fact that you guys have done an obvious significant amount of research as to who provides the best services overall, and you guys have, like Vic said, not tried to reinvent the wheel, and I really appreciate that as a user. Seeing that you guys are going with BitGo for multi-sig and Tradingview for charting, you're already on the right track, and I'm going to be excited to recommend your service and use it myself.
And Theo?
Yeah, are your prices going to be based on Bitfinex, or are you going to do an average of some exchanges, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, we're thinking about just using Bitfinex.
Okay.
That would be great.
All right, Drac just thought of something.
Well, I mean, just following on from that, you'd be better off using an average, maybe from Bitcoin Average, which takes an average of all the exchanges. But my thought was, when I first heard VIX talking about alt options, my immediate thought, and of course because you're marketing to crypto traders, that it was an altcoin options exchange. So you might want to think about the name.
Well, our
Or either think about the name or add altcoins.
yeah, I was about to say that's probably one of the more likely scenarios, the latter.
Right.
Okay.
And yeah, we do the way how we build up the system, we really spend a lot of time designing it. It's in terms of adding other cryptocurrency pairs, that's like a week of additional work to us. It's very easy to do so.
Nice.
So
you would get a lot of traders if you did that, if you supported alts. If you
absolutely. Yeah, I think the immediate cryptocurrencies we're thinking about adding are Ripple and Litecoins.
Sure.
Yeah, we still need Coinbase to add Litecoin. I mean, the higher the Litecoin creators still haven't done that, but that's another story. So I just wanted to kind of pull it in for closing. If you guys have any last feedback, Marco and Joe, then we'll close it after that.
Yeah, I think we're good on this end.
All right. And thank you, Marco and Joe, for coming on the Whale Club Hangout. For the panel, BTC Drac, Bitfoundry, Cratch over at ts.whaleclub.io. What is your guys' contact information? alt-options.com is the URL, correct?
Yes. So what we can do is we can type our email in the handout. Also, we'll put our personal Skype up there too. If you have any question, just message us anytime.
I will make sure to include that on the show notes. And then your Twitter is at altoptionsllc. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the team and the panel here, come find us over on the TeamSpeak channel. I usually have 120 to 150 users there, and we're signing off. Have a good day.